Hey everybody, welcome to Scotty's Record Shop on YouTube. I did a video actually earlier today celebrating John Lennon's birthday, which is coming up tomorrow. But I just wanted to blow through just some of the McCartney stuff I had. McCartney, out of all the Beatles, is my favorite Beatle. Um, so I'm just going to go through actually just the 70s stuff that I have and try to do this fairly quickly. Again, because of the time restraints given to us by our friends here at YouTube. Why I have 3 copies of this particular album, I don't know. The McCartney. It'd help if I held it up right. Anyway, 3 copies, 2 apples, and one with the barcode on the back. You know it's coming from the 80s. On the Columbia record label. And actually this was the first one. The Columbia label was the very first one I actually purchased way back, yeah, in like high school, junior high, high school. Okay, not a bad record. I don't have the 180 gram remastered vinyl of that. I do have the box set that came with that from last year. Ram, great record. This is an Apple pressing. Uncle Albert, Algernon Halsey, Too Many People, Dear Boy, Backseat of My Car. This is one of my favorite McCartney records. And a wonderful job box set earlier this year out for that as well. Part of that was this mono pressing. This is a sealed copy. I'm not going to bother opening it, and I figure the value will go up on this. Hopefully, I'm not going to get rid of it, but this is a 180 gram vinyl of Ram in mono. Again, if you can pick up that box set that came out earlier, it's fantastic, earlier this year. Wildlife, 1972. There's some really good songs on here, and there are some not really good songs on here, but considering how new the band was, Wings was at the time, and how little time they actually had to put this record supposedly together, you got to give them some credit. You know. 2 copies of this next record. And I'm not going to show the 45s. I have all the original 45s, Another Day, Junior's Farm, all these non-album tracks. I've got them upstairs, but I didn't, I was lazy, I didn't pull them. Red Rose Speedway, this is the original Apple pressing. And a later pressing from when I was in high school of it on Columbia. As well, my first pressing of that record. A nice record from him. Band on the Run. Actually, my original Apple pressing. It's got some ring wear, but the album itself is in great shape. And this one I picked up down the road too. A half-speed master of this record. Man, it sounds really, really good. It's on Columbia. So this had to have been early 80s as well. Then, of course, some singles. A single came out anyway. Junior's Farm and Live and Let Die, which I'm not going to show you. I'll show you where they show up eventually on album. Venus and Mars, another one of my favorite records. I can't wait for this one to get remastered. This is not on Apple. This is actually on Capitol. Wings at the Speed of Sound, 1976. Yeah, not the best album, but it's got some great music on it. Also on the Capitol record label. A great record that's going to be coming out next year, remastered. Wings at the Speed of Sound. We're finally going to get it on DVD and Blu-ray, and there's going to be some additional tracks and everything else. Probably going to cost a mint, but that's okay. McCartney fans will love it anyway. I'll be there. This is not a Columbia. This is not a Capitol pressing. Mine actually is a Columbia pressing. I got to get me a. This is worn too. This record's been through a lot. Love this record. Got to get me a copy and original pressing of it. London Town. It's got some good stuff and some not so good stuff on it, but overall an okay record from Paul McCartney. A time of transition for him on the Capitol label. He left Capitol for a while, but before he left, we got this one. We got Wings' Greatest. which has some of those non-album singles on it. Another Day, High, High, High. It doesn't have Mary Had a Little Lamb or Give Ireland Back to the Irish, but it does have Junior's Farm, Live and Let Die. It doesn't have Girls' School, but it does have Mulligan Tire, which is, you know, okay, a good compilation from 1978. 1979, he moves to Columbia. Ringware, but the record's in great shape. For Back to the Egg, this record got trashed a lot. I kind of like this record personally, but that's okay. Then came an interview record, which I recently found. I saw it in record stores years ago, and now I'm not going to buy it. And I regretted it. And I finally saw it in a record store fairly cheap, so I picked it up. This was $79.80-ish. I am going to cheat and go into the 80s just a little bit. Actually, this one's 79 too. This is a bootleg of them live in Liverpool. Not the greatest audio on this one, but an interesting record nevertheless. I picked up years ago. Live thing. He's not all over this, but he is. He's got a side live concert for the people of Campuchia. I believe this was recorded in 79, but it came out in 1980. The Who and a lot of other people on this record. Elvis Costello, I believe, is on here. Great record. Last one I want to show you actually was from the 80s. Was this one, McCartney 2, which came with the promotional single with only music on one side. The song Coming Up, because the live version wasn't on this record, and the record really wasn't doing so hot, so the single was doing great, the record wasn't, so they had to do something quick, so they included a promotional copy of the single in with the album. The album, I believe, went to #1 at that point. It's not my favorite McCartney record by any stretch, but an interesting phase in his career. I feel weird having to blow through all this stuff this quickly, but if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, anything else you'd like to see, just leave me a message at the bottom of the video or email me. Alrighty? Until next time, everybody, peace and love.